We need a theme song.
Coming soon. Coming soon.
Welcome back to the Blip Pod, your source of hilarity and movie, comic, and TV news.
And nonsense.
And not just general bullshit.
Nonsense.
I'm Nolan.
I'm Joey.
And we have this week's episode is going to be on, we got a couple news things to go over. There's a couple shakings up in the Marvel universe. And then we have our review of Birds of Prey. So this should be an interesting episode because I know...
We're going to first have a non-spoiler review of Birds of Prey. And then we'll tell people who haven't seen the movie yet that we're about to start our spoiler review. So whoever hasn't seen it could exit our podcast.
Yeah. We saw it last night. We went to one of the early showings. And we'll get into it later, but it was an interesting movie, and I'm excited to talk about it. Basically, in other podcast-related news, we have someone who's making our theme song. It's going to be fantastic.
It's Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic. Oh, we'll get into that. But so it's going to be cool. And we're going to start bringing on guests.
Yeah.
That'll be...
Hopefully our next episode.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That'll be fun. And apologies for if you can hear a little ringing in the background. We got... someone was occupying our usual podcast studio, so we're now in this slightly crappier one that has a heating system in the corner. Son of a bitch.
Probably because it's a snowstorm outside, so they got to crank up the heat to 100.
We are in the
kill everyone off, you know?
Yep, bingo. We're in the cold depths of upper state New York. Okay, so it's news time, so...
Daily news.
From the Blip. We gotta get like a theme song for each one of our little segments. Like we gotta get like a theme song for our news thing.
We're investing.
Exactly. Okay, back on topic. So a couple big things happened this week. Sam Raimi is in talks, allegedly,
for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
It sounds like this is going to happen because the original director, went out on Twitter yesterday, the day before, and said, I fully support this choice, and I think he's great, and that this will be great. So I have a feeling that it's actually going to happen.
And I'm totally on board if it does happen. For very good reasons that I think any fanboy or girl would love of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man.
Something. Just, even if it's not Tobey Maguire, just something from...
Hey, you know, even if it's just like a cameo or something, like Doctor Strange jumping through like different realities, going through portals or whatever, and then just like crosses Spider-Man 3 when he's going down the road doing his dance, snap at people, you know, and he just jumps out of nowhere and just erases him from existence. Like, nobody wanted that. Nobody wanted that.
No, you know what they should do? They should do is all the multiverse collapses on each other, and then you know the GIF, the meme where it's Spider-Man pointing at each other, but it's J. Jonah Jameson when he's bald and when he has hair.
Oh my god!
It's J.K. Simmons going, "Hey, who the hell are you?
What is this?
You? Yeah, exactly.
You're fired.
You're fired. No, you're fired.
Wait, the same person. You're rehired. You're rehired.
You're rehired. Yeah. Come here.
I need you.
No. Oh my god, I would love that.
And they did mention that in the Sam Raimi when they're trying to think of Doc Ock name, and he goes, Doctor Strange. I like it, but let's take it.
I am excited to see. Also, Sam Raimi mostly does horror
movies, and this is supposed to have horror aspects. So,
and I think he can blend those because he's done good comic book movies. He's done good horror movies. I think he can easily and quickly just blend them into a really good movie.
And plus, they already have the plan and idea done, and it's just basically his execution.
Yeah, bingo. And he's good at that kind of thing.
And also, we just literally like 2 minutes ago, we just got an update. The Rick and Morty writers were hired to rewrite part of the script for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so my kind of thought on that is are they rewriting it for the kind of Rick and Morty multiverse aspect, or are they trying to get more comedy in?
I think a little bit of both. Yeah. Because Marvel films, they're going to have some comedy in it. Yeah. And also, these guys for years now, they've been making a TV show that was revolved around a bunch of like interdimensional portals, different worlds, and different realities, and that's what this Doctor Strange movie is going to be about. So they're already used to doing that, and they're just going to bring it into a Marvel movie, a bigger stage.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And
how long is Rick and Morty being on there?
Well, we're on their 4th season now, but they took a break for a while. I think it was like 2015 they came out.
Oh yeah.
Something like that. I didn't watch it right away.
Yeah.
I watched it when the 3rd season released. That's when I started watching it. But that was like 2017, I want to say.
Yeah, I remember the first episode. Okay, we're getting off topic, but I remember the first episode came out on YouTube, and I watched it when it first came out. Okay, here's the second big Marvel news. So we got Sam Raimi potentially. Oh, I want pizza time somewhere there. That's another thing.
Yeah, just like they had concept art of Doctor Strange holding through the portal, just Spider-Man's hand with the pizza.
Yeah, that's boss logic. I love
time.
that guy on Instagram. The second big Marvel news is kind of a two-parter. Emily Blunt is meeting with Marvel.
Yeah, she's been meeting with Marvel
for some character,
and they've been just from fans. They wanted fan casting for like the past year. John Krasinski and Emily Blunt for Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman.
It's so, and I'll post this. You guys follow us. You should follow us on Instagram and Twitter and everything, because we're going to start posting updates and little stuff throughout the week that we won't have time to make a whole podcast on. But there are, and we'll post this, but there is, if you look at the new Fantastic Four comics, because they rebooted it once they got the rights back.
Exactly.
Oh my
looks
God.
exactly like him.
It's a spinning, they clearly drew over his face.
Just like what they did for
Samuel Jackson.
Jackson
Bingo.
for Nick Fury. I remember Samuel Jackson's looking like, hey, that's me, I'm Nick Fury.
The
next thing you know, he's in the movies.
Have you heard the interview with him where he explains that?
A while ago.
They hand him the comic book.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to bleep myself for the podcast. But he goes, "You mother."
His iconic line.
Exactly. Like he just swears at the heads of Marvel. But then John Krasinski says that he wants to be Mr. Fantastic.
Well, so Emily Blunt is definitely already talking to Marvel. We haven't heard anything about John Krasinski, but he just publicly came out saying he wants to play, and fans want him to play. So I don't know why Marvel wouldn't do it.
I have two thoughts about this. My first thought is that he'd be the perfect Mr. Fantastic and that they're going to get him. But I also feel like Marvel casting, usually if they cast someone, you're not allowed to talk about it. Like they said Kumail Nanjiani, he's in for Eternals. They said when they cast him, he was supposed to go on like a talk show, I think Conan O'Brien that night, and they just canceled it. They said, nope, we got to keep, you are just going to lay low for a while so that it doesn't anything leak out. So I feel like the fact that he says that he wants to means that he isn't in talks now. Doesn't mean that he won't be in talks, but I don't think he's in talks now.
Unless it's just a tease. It's saying maybe he's already got the role or something, but he's just saying, I would do it if they come to me, but they already did come to him or whatever.
That's like Ewan McGregor. Like for the last 7 years, he's been like, I would play Obi-Wan and Kenobi if they came to me. And then he's like, oh yeah, I've known this for this 5 years.
Yeah, so I feel like there's definitely hope, because automatically they're gonna make so much. They're gonna make bank off of it, because just from Fantastic Four, just the name Fantastic Four, people are gonna want to watch.
Yep.
Marvel Cinematic Universe gonna watch. The Office, John Krasinski, everyone loves. They're gonna watch.
God.
You know,
and especially with them coming out with Quiet Place 2, they're good actors and they can monopolize on that. Also, they have, I guess it would, if they released Fantastic Four, sort of the Eternals, but it would be technically the next team movie?
Yeah, well, they say because they're not going to be Avengers for a while, and that could be the next
team movie
before we get to the new Avengers.
I'd like that. I've always said that I wanted him in it. Even, what was that, 2017, they started releasing, fan art. It looks fantastic. Venom is officially happening this year. The release date, I think, is October. I don't know if they've officially released it.
October or November.
Yeah, it's sometime. I think they're just going to do the same thing they did last time. There was a big thing. They released a set photo.
Tom Hardy posting a picture, just two random people that nobody knows. Probably just someone on set working behind.
Yeah, it looks like a boom op and a
sound
mixer.
It looks like they be playing laser tag for all we know.
It does!
It's like neon.
Are they in a club?
I don't know.
There's no... Because when we were checking out the news before we did the podcast to make sure we didn't miss anything, and it was 21 minutes ago, Tom Hardy released his new picture from set of Venom 2, and I was like, oh, dang, I really want to see this. I want to see what they're doing with Carnage. I want to see if Morbius is in it. Literally nothing. It is a glowing table. That is it, with two people sitting at it.
Telling you, that's their downtime. They got the next studio over. It's just a laser tag arena. Pew pew.
Dude, I love that so much. If we ever got into films and they were like, okay, take 5.
Take 5. We go play laser tag, and then we come back. All right, next scene.
as we make Venom, whatever the hell they're on. Those movies will make a crap ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
They always will.
We got now. This isn't any superheroes or anything, but we got the new Minions trailer.
We gotta talk about this.
Rise of Gru.
Rise of Gru.
Coming off the Rise of Skywalker. Gru, after Emperor Palpatine has died, the new supervillain has risen once again. His name is Gru, 10-year-old kid with a bunch of yellow banana-eating minions.
They're like pills. They're like weird little pills.
Some of them are nice and chunky, though. You know,
oh my god!
I don't know if you'd be able to swallow them. Like they got the tall, skinny ones. You could swallow those guys, but
I hate this conversation so much.
Yeah, you said pills.
Yeah, I did say pills. That was 100% my fault. No, I think this is movie 5.
Yep.
It's been 10 years since. That is a long time. I did not realize that.
Felt like it was 2 years ago.
No, yeah. It's been 10 years since. I remember watching that as not a kid, but like when I was younger.
Yeah. Middle school days.
Yeah, damn.
I'll watch that movie. That's probably gonna be, just a nice, fun animation adventure. You know.
It looks. I think we both saw Minions. I wasn't a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I love the Minions. Though,
yeah.
You know? I mean, like, yeah, I think the Despicable Me movies are better.
Yep.
But I just love the Minions.
And that's why I think this one is gonna be good again, because they take away the first Despicable Me is good because it's Gru and the Minions.
It's basically a Despicable Me movie, but it's just when they were younger.
Yep.
You know.
Also, this Despicable Me movies, I feel like the first one's fantastic. The second one is less fantastic, and they progressively get not some like I don't like the Minions, but they progressively get not as good. But I think that this one is going to be most like the first one. It looks like,
yeah,
because it's just Gru and it's just the Minions, and he has the weird contraptions, and they're fighting against really dumb-looking villains, like the
goofy people,
nunchuck nun.
Yeah,
it took me a second to get that joke, and I was like, oh, I love that so much.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like all this just like stupid, quirky, like corny stuff that really makes the movie work.
We'll have to sit through Facebook just again being overrun with Minion memes. I cannot get the fact that the fact that you just said chunky Minions is burned into my brain. Oh my god, I hate that dude.
Should stay stubby, you know, they're short and chubby.
Stubby, yep. You know that somewhere on the internet there's like a thick Minions Reddit page.
Oh, probably.
So I'm like, oh.
Probably some weird kinky shit.
Yep. And you know that my phone notoriously listens to me and then gives me very specific ads.
No matter, you can make the most like innocent thing in the world, but somewhere on the internet they'll make 100%. It weird.
The internet is the scourge of humanity, and also the best
we can't call Minions chunky anymore.
Nope.
That's off limits.
That'll be the tagline. That'll be this week's tagline. Will be episode 3, Chunky Minions and the Birds of Prey. The Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous, or what? Yeah, what was it? The Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of all the chunky minions. And that's how we get deverified from Apple Podcasts. I think kind of a slow news week. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, now we got our big topic, Birds of Prey.
Yeah,
though.
Birds of Prey.
Saw it on the opening night last night.
It was, yeah, so let's switch into this. Again will be our non-spoiler part, where we will just give our first impressions and then we'll go into spoilers. I do recommend that everyone see the movie.
Yes, especially if you're a DC fan, definitely. Yes. Or just like superhero films, I'd watch it.
I'm going to pick my words carefully because I'm very scared of giving away stuff.
Well, we just won't talk about specific stuff. We'll just talk about...
We won't talk about it at the end, when?
Yeah. But first off, their opening day, they didn't make as much money as they believed.
I think they were hoping for like a Deadpool level of income. Or like a Logan level of income.
Because they were trying to copy it. Yeah. You know?
And they're definitely... So, before we go into the kind of finances of the whole thing, the movie is... I honestly think the most comic booky live-action comic movie I've ever seen. It feels like you're watching a comic book. You suspend your disbelief because it's that comic book weird world. They switch between animation sometimes and live action. All the characters are just like straight out of a comic book to an absurd degree. which works.
But that's also why there's parts of the movie I didn't like, because they established that's what the movie is, and then later on they get away from that, which I'm like, what happened? It's like a different movie now, and it doesn't work when it's not like that.
Yeah.
When it's like they're like doesn't need to be realistic disbelief and just trying to be like a comic booky movie, it works. But when they got away from that, it didn't work and it fell a little flat.
There's a couple parts specifically in general. So initial reactions, overall I enjoyed.
It's entertaining, yes.
Yep,
definitely
super
entertaining, funny. Well,
everyone in
let's
it.
just say,
oh my god,
the theater was not that filled. There's probably like 20 people in there,
if that. Yeah.
And there was some jokes that were just like, maybe get me like a smirk, but I'm not gonna laugh at.
Yeah.
Then this dude in the front row.
Oh my god.
I don't know what was going on with this guy, but every time like something like little happened that wasn't even really funny, he's just like ha 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 ha.
And it sounded exactly like there were some points that I usually like not a rowdy audience, but I like the occasional laugh in the audience. I like, depending on the movie, I like clapping or cheering or stuff. I wanted to kill this guy. I was like, this is going to be... Forget their village and origin story. This is going to be mine.
Like, halfway through the movie, though, there's stuff that I'm not laughing at the movie. I'm laughing at that guy.
I was laughing at that guy, too.
Like, there's this one scene that's actually kind of disturbing, and people would feel uncomfortable during.
Yep.
And it's, like, a serious topic.
This guy...
And then it's happening. Like, everyone else in the theater would be like, oh, my God, is this really happening? And then this guy just like, ha, 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 ha. I'm like... What is up with this guy? This is not like a laughing matter right now.
I am going to cut out the ha-ha-has and make that my text alert thing. And every time I get a little text, we'll go, ha-ha-ha-ha. No, it was... So, weird viewing aside, we both generally liked the movie. There was... Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I keep getting telemarketer calls. Generally liked the movie.
Entertaining.
I think there were some parts that tonally felt inconsistent. All the actors in it were fantastic.
Yeah, casting was perfect.
Casting was amazing.
I think just the kid at first felt a little off. I think it took her a while to find her.
Yeah, Cassandra Cain. Yeah, little stride with everyone else. But once she did,
she did, like towards the end of the movie, and I'm like, yeah, she found her place. But I think it took her a little while.
You didn't know what her kind of deal was, and then once you found it out, it made sense. General, I'm trying to think of stuff that
I feel like they had trouble finding their identity.
Yep.
Like I feel like there's like a bunch of different aspects from different movies they tried to become.
Yep.
And they just weren't consistent throughout. That's why it felt like, oh, this moment, this works. It feels like this is what they're going this is what they're going for, like a different movie was going for it, and that works. And then at a different point they tried something else. I'm
Flip
like,
sides,
just keep it consistent. You know?
And keeping in mind that we both will do screenwriting, and we have particularly are kind of attuned to that. So we probably noticed that more than some other people. But there were parts. Occasionally it felt like some characters were in a different movie. And I was like...
Especially Black Canary character.
Yeah,
by the entire film, she was consistent the entire film, and she was a good character. And by the end, like during the final fight scene, she seemed like she was a completely different character. Yeah. Like the way she was acting and talking, I'm like, she was not like this the entire movie.
You could literally have taken her line of dialogue from a different character and kind of switched it in.
Yeah, I'm like, she was not this character the entire movie. Why is she like this now?
Okay, so do you want to go into spoilers in it? Do you want to go into spoilers? Okay,
yeah,
so generally, if you are clocking out, our millions of listeners that tune in every week.
Make sure you stay for the post-credit scene. That's probably the best post-credit scene I ever seen in my life. Just throwing that out there. Nah, I'm just stay.
Yeah, just stay. It's something to watch. So general reactions as we kind of close with a non-spoiler. Definitely go see it. I want DC to make more movies like this. It's where they have their niche. They realize that the kind of Marvel realism doesn't really fit any of their weird characters, so they kind of create this comic book world that all these kind of weird, zany people are living in, and they're like, either you're on the boat or get off.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same with Shazam. It's like, I really like Shazam because it was a crazy situation, and they just were just like in a world where superheroes are all the time, people are like, oh,
it's normal.
It's normal. There's a guy that's flying. This is not new. And I kind of think that's where Birds of Prey did very well. It was like, you're in the DC universe. It's obviously been around for a while. It's not a new thing. People just accept that this is shit what happens every day. Okay, spoilers.
So now, if you have not seen the movie, you may leave now if you do not want to hear spoilers, because we are jumping into that right now.
Spoiler territory. I can't believe that Green Arrow and Batman killed each other.
Ugh. I don't know where the DCU is going from here.
No,
but jumping off from what you just said about like them recognizing superheroes or people who they just accept that. That's what I felt like was weird during like, especially during the day. She's just walking around like she's not a criminal. She's walking around, going to stores, driving around, talking to people, going wherever, just walking through the streets in the middle of the day, and no one says a thing. Everyone knows who she is. Yep. Everyone still thought in the beginning of the movie, everyone still thought she was dating the Joker. And Joker's the biggest
bad guy.
Yeah, biggest bad guy in Gotham, and Gotham's usually hard on with their police force because there's so many like villains and crime going on, and she's just walking around la di da da, like no one's saying a single thing.
That's
to her.
The thing. So it took me a second because you're right. There's one scene where she's literally walking through the daylight, and at first I was like, strange, but then it occurred to me that if this is more like the comic books, which it very much is. It felt like, you know what it felt like? It felt like a Birds of Prey comic book. And I know I read a bunch of comic books, especially the DC comic ones. And they have your main ones. You've got your Batman comics, you got your Superman comics. And then you have your smaller ones, where it will be like the Harley Quinn comic, where she'll name drop Batman, she'll name drop the Joker, and then maybe they come in for an issue. But she generally has her own story, which was very much this movie. They name drop a bunch of people. Mm-hmm. You never really see them. Not to the detriment of the movie.
And I feel like a lot of those name drops were to keep keep the core of the universe together and connect the movie, especially this one scene when she was a wanted poster of Boomerang, and then she's walking around, she goes, hey, I know that guy, so it's giving a little knock to Suicide Squad just to say, yes, that's connected. You know? And
then there's one part where she just basically recaps. So this is less of a movie review and just trying to clear the air. Suicide Squad is canon to this. Birds of Prey is canon. If Captain Boomerang is canon, that means that Ezra Miller's Flash is canon.
Yep.
Which, I guess by extent means Justice League is canon.
Yep.
Which means Shazam is... So I guess it is a universe? Regardless of how kind of weird and spread out it's going to be?
It's definitely... I think it's all part of the universe. It's just...
Except for Joker.
Which is... I think it's just... was developed poorly, I guess. Structurally, it wasn't planned out that well. That's why it feels confusing and odd, but it is all canon besides Joker.
Yep.
That's why I'm wondering about Robert Pattinson's Batman, if that's going to be canon or just part of its own thing with Joker.
That was the one thing, the post-credit scene, we joked about this earlier, the post-credit scene is, there is no real post-credit scene.
It's basically, it just shows the the Warner Brothers logo, and it's just a voiceover of Harley Quinn talking to the audience. She's like, "Oh, hey, it's like the Deadpool kind of thing. Oh, you guys are still here? Yep. Oh, I guess I'll make your time worth it." And she goes, "Batman's real name is," and then it just ends.
And then so that means, that Batman is in this universe. Yeah. Which we know.
But we know that
Robert Pattinson.
But he's unless his Batman is in the DC universe, but I think they're just going back in time and doing his younger one, because in the DCU with
Ben Affleck,
that was an older version of Batman. So everything else, maybe they're going back in time, going what happened before that, and then Robert Pattinson just jumps back in like he was
Batman the whole time.
Ben Affleck the entire time.
I don't think I would mind that.
Hey, yeah. I mean, at this point, they got a different, like, Ben Affleck's gone, so
they have to do something.
Do that.
They just here's the people they got to keep on. They got to keep on Gal Gadot. Mm-hmm. They will.
So I want them to just keep everyone. You know,
they need to keep Henry Cavill.
I know.
That's my biggest thing. They'll keep everyone else. I think Henry Cavill has not had a chance to be in the movies. I was hoping that we'd get some nod to Batman or Superman in this one, but alas. Okay, back to the movie at hand. Not speculating about the D. Huntress was underused.
Yes.
That's my biggest problem with this film.
thing is, though, maybe if they're trying to do more like how MCU is, maybe they're just teasing her, like, oh, give you a little taste of her before actually blowing her up in a different movie.
I hope so. I hope they do. I wouldn't even mind if she just continuously built up her arc in other people. I don't think she'll ever warrant her own movie. She's just not a property. People won't show up to the Huntress movie.
Just like...
she could show up in a Green Arrow movie. She could show up in Birds of Prey 2. She could show up
just like a Hawkeye.
Bingo. You can just bounce around. Eventually you get your own thing, or you're part of whatever, the Justice League, JSA, whatever it is. I think that she was fantastic in it. She was the most compelling backstory.
Well, she had the most motive.
Yeah.
She had the most motive.
Black Canary is really good in this movie. She doesn't have any motivation.
I think it's just her need to protect, or I think
herself, I guess.
I think it's just the fact that she is working for the villain, and she feels ashamed that if she doesn't do anything, she's part of the problem.
Bingo. So that's less an actual motivation and just like an
her
hour
morals.
into the movie. She goes, oh.
It's just like her morals.
So, okay, what do we got? We got Margot Robbie was really good as Harley Quinn. She was in Suicide Squad. She ramps up in this one. She breaks the fourth wall now.
That's why I got a lot of Deadpool vibes.
Yeah, I think that to the detriment, because I think that she's a great actor and that she's strong enough where they didn't need to copy Deadpool, but they tried to anyway. Don't mind it. Like, I don't hate it.
So, if they... I think it worked fine throughout the movie, except for the parts when they got away from that.
Yep.
That's when it put a switch on it, and it lost its tone, and it didn't work. If you start off with something, you got to keep it consistent. There
was one part. It goes. She narrates most of the film, and then in the final battle, they kind of go. Oh, she doesn't break the fourth wall. She's just a normal character. But then in the final scene, she looks direct. I thought she was talking to Cassandra's Cain, and they kind of leave it up for grabs. She might have been, but she looks directly in the camera, like twice. When they're driving away, and then at the very end when she's like, I've started my new life, directly in the camera. So I was like, if you know you're in a movie, you shouldn't have been surprised by stuff earlier in the movie that made the movie made such a big deal about. Like when she's like, where have all my guns gone? I'm like, but don't you know you're in a movie? You should know this already.
And also, another thing that they did with Deadpool is how Deadpool started off like in the middle of the movie.
Realized Deadpool lost all his guns too. Oh my gosh, that is just lazy.
No, also lazy. How Deadpool already starts off with just that fight scene on the highway.
Yep.
And then after that happens, he jumps back. Oh, this is what happened before, and it does his entire backstory before, and that worked. In this movie, they did the same thing, sort of. Where she is in the club. It starts off with, right, something like that.
There was. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do not remember.
I think
that it plays.
That's what I mean right now. Like we both don't remember because it did it a couple times. I think it started off somewhere. Moses. Then she went back and she goes, "I gotta wait." And like she kind of like got confused. She's like, "Wait, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. Like I gotta jump back and like give you guys the information so you understand." And then she got back to the point. And now we're in real time, and then something happens. Like all those guys came after her, and she surrendered. And then next thing you know, it jumps to her in a different scene. Like, well, what happened to her being captured? Yeah. And then she plays that out for a little bit. She goes, wait! I gotta tell you guys what happened. That's for you guys to understand. So she went back again. I'm like, to be honest, that was fine doing that one time. But then once you caught up, just keep the story going instead of jumping and then going back again.
I thought it worked actually really well in the beginning of the movie because it was kind of her whole character thing. It's like she's scatterbrained as hell to the point of being crazy. So it works for a while. It fell off when they show an action scene, but it's not even like you don't know the real motivation. You have no idea why this is happening. Mm-hmm. You also don't know when it is. You know what actually the best thing about that though is the costume design. You could tell which timeline you were in by what she was wearing. Yeah. Which I think helped a lot. Because sometimes I really didn't know what was happening, and I'd be like, okay, we've got sparkly coat, we've got star shirt, and we've got words with Harley on it. If we're in this one, it means we're generally here in the story. So that kind of helped. But you're right, they freaking... The first, 30 minutes of the film is an editor's worst night. It is basically someone took a bunch of clips and was just like, woo! And then had someone narrate
Do something with this.
Yeah, bingo.
But also, I thought it was really weird. This is the first DC film where you just see Gotham in the middle of the day with bright colors and everything.
Funny.
It was so weird, like, because you're just seeing this dark, gloomy place just all the time, and DC's like very faded and like dark look.
Blue.
And then it did show that within this film, but then there was a couple times they're just in the middle of the day, everything's bright, you see all the buildings. Oh, that was like an avalanche off the ceiling. Off topic, but I'm just looking out the window. This huge chunk of snow just fell off the ceiling. It could have killed someone if someone was standing there. But no, like that was. This like,
is podcast. What is it?
If someone was standing right there, they could have died.
No, what's the Mandalorian? Podcasting is a very dangerous profession.
But like. Back on track here.
As we dodge snowballs from all the people who give us shitty reviews, we will continue to review this.
No, but back on track though. Once I think I was talking about Gotham.
Sorry.
No, I don't know. I'll just say it was just strange just seeing Gotham for the middle of the day. You could tell it's New York City though. You know.
Occasionally,
like one time you saw like a background, you're like that was definitely the New York skyline. You know?
Which I felt they lean into because in the comics they do have like Gotham is basically like a combination of a couple different. You know what? It did do one thing for me though. It made sense that she wasn't fighting Batman, which I didn't realize until afterwards. But they kind of quenched because if they had a movie in Gotham at nighttime, first thing people would have said was, "Why didn't Batman just stop him?"
True.
But if Batman doesn't come out at 9:00 in the morning, it makes sense that they can kind of go around at 9:00.
True. Yeah. No, I definitely didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I never thought about before I seen this movie is what Harley Quinn would be like without the Joker, because this entire time she's dating the Joker, and no one messes with her because she's dating the Joker. That was
the coolest part of the movie.
And I never thought about this until it happened because they broke up, and once everyone found out they broke up, and she has no protection at all. Everyone just all after like, oh, we can get her now because the Joker's not going to stop us, and they don't need to worry about the Joker killing them or anything. And I'm like, wow, I never thought about the repercussions if she didn't have her protection from the Joker. All these people are going to be after her.
I think that was one of the strongest things in the film was at the beginning when she realizes, because she doesn't tell people at first.
Yeah, she tried keeping it a secret so she could still just mess around with people and just do whatever she wants.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Because it's that idea of, and it's very comic booky idea of, there's the main supervillains, and then you have your kind of D-list supervillains. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of Batman comics that do this where, like, everyone's so caught up with the main guys, they don't really pay attention to the small guys. So it was that cool idea of, once you step away from their shadow, you're in this whole other world of, you're not fighting Batman, you're fighting, like, a guy with a crowbar.
Yeah. And also, there's...
Happy the Clown.
Yeah.
The guy with the clown. There's a guy... That movie... Okay. This movie is brutal. Like,
when she's in the club scene, just messing around with people, like the dude has his legs up on a chair.
Oh my god!
And he like yells at her, tells her to sit down or something. Yeah. And then she goes okay, and she jumps up. I thought she was gonna like jump on like his balls or something, like hit him with the balls. But she jumps right on his kneecaps. She bends his legs backwards.
They show it too,
and then they showed it all.
Crack.
I did not expect that. I expected it just to be like another one of those just like nut jokes, and like she like hits him in the nuts. There is a lot of just like nut and tit jokes, like oh you hit me in the balls, or oh you punched my boob or something. Like there's a lot of just that humor. That's why I thought that she was gonna do that, but she jumped straight on his kneecaps, his legs bent backwards, and I literally got shocked. I'm like, oh my god!
And then they do it multiple times.
Yeah, there's other scene. She also
she breaks both his legs in slow mo, and the guy's like, "Oh!" and slowly crumples as his legs go out like a freaking like weird fish. And I was "Holy crap!" I think this movie deserved the R rating it got.
Yep.
It went in hard.
I didn't mind it, but
I think
I was just surprised.
Yep.
You know, because you don't really see many of that in superhero films,
especially in DC movies.
I mean, like the only time we've seen that kind of stuff was in Deadpool, but I didn't think it was like gruesome. I thought it was funny. You know, it's funny, but this is the first time you saw it.
It's gruesome.
You know,
which I guess played to the tone, whereas like it's this weird it fits in well because you think of these crazy comic book characters that are weird and zany and colorful, but at the same time they still are murdering and disfiguring people in the weirdest ways. Which we can probably transition into the villain now, Black Mask. Ewan McGregor is great. His character doesn't have really any motivation, which is...
He just seemed like he was just as crazy as Harley Quinn.
If not more crazy.
Harley Quinn,
There were some parts where
him and his partner...
Victor Zsasz. Victor Zsasz I liked... You haven't seen All Gotham.
No, I haven't.
There's Victor Zsasz in that. I do think that they did Victor Zsasz better in that TV show than this one, but that's neither here nor there. But neither of them has no motivation other than they are evil.
I think it's just basically they want to be in control, but they're not. They have to live down below the Joker.
Yep.
So they want to just have as much power as they can, and they basically are psychopaths. And he's
crazy.
He like
the face thing. Okay, so
yeah.
if anyone's ever read the comics or anything, that you know that he likes disfiguring people's face. That's kind of his whole thing, the Black Mask thing. They do it in this movie.
They literally cut someone's skin off of their
two people's faces off while the
Straight
daughter
up.
watches. That threw me for a loop when he's like cut his face off and it was like shick,
and then he just holding his skin. I'm just like, what?
Whoa.
At first I thought he just slit his throat, and the
Yep.
next thing, then it cuts, he's just holding his face in his hand.
Yep.
I'm like, wow.
That was brutal. That was.
Yeah, and then another disturbing scene that I was talking about earlier, where this guy just starts laughing during this disturbing scene, is when this also shows in how crazy he is. Yep. Like, there's these people at a different table at his club just laughing in their own conversation.
It's kind of a small lady.
Yeah, she's like a, I don't know, $150 pound lady or something, and they're just having a good time, laughing and minding their own business, and then he's over at this other table, and something just happened, like bad news, and he's getting all pissed off and riled up, and he sees them laughing, he's going crazy, he goes, they're laughing at me or something, so he goes over, tells the girl stand up on the table and start dancing, and then he has the other dude strip her down, and like it was basically like, it basically seemed like a low-key rape kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Even though there was not actually like rape going on, it was just you felt those vibes, and it was like wow, that's.
It was both not the worst. It was the most uncomfortable part of the movie, but it was the one part where it was well written, as when that was the point it went from mustaching, twirling Ewan McGregor to this guy is legitimately scary.
It makes you just feel so bad for this lady too.
Oh my god!
Like she was having a good time minding her own business, and the next thing you know, she's like the club went silent too. Everyone's watching, and she's put on the spotlight. Like it's a very disturbing moment, and then you just have that guy, ha ha ha, and I'm just like, what is this guy laughing at right now? I'm like, does he do this to people?
At that point, for the beginning part of the movie, I was like, oh, this is like this guy's laughing at everything. And then there's one part where he's like, get up on the table. And then he's like, now cut her, like he turns to the boyfriend and he's like, now cut her dress off. And he's like cutting it off. And this guy is just hooting and hollering. I'm like, here's what I thought was going to happen. I was very, very, this is an R-rated movie. I was very afraid that this woman would get stripped nude and they would imply rape. Mm-hmm. I was also very afraid that this guy in the front row would keep laughing through that scene. I was like,
honestly, I thought he was gonna like kill her after that happened too. I'm just like, oh, this poor lady.
If this poor lady gets her face peeled off while she's on the table with undressed, I was gonna oof.
Yeah.
Where's that then?
Yeah, alright, so let's backtrack to the beginning of the movie. Now I'm going to talk more about Harley Quinn's character and how I felt like they were jumping around with her character and didn't really know what her character was. Yep. For the most part. So this is also probably the best part of the movie too, like between us. When she's running away from, after everyone found out she broke up with the Joker, and everyone's after her. She's walking in the middle of the day. She's running away from everyone. Everyone's after her, all like 100 people. And
they did.
And say that.
Sorry, they did the one thing. In Suicide Squad they had the graphics.
Yeah.
But they did them really dumb. In Suicide Squad they were terrible. They found a way to do them right in this movie. They do the graphics, and it's the person who wants to kill her, and then why they want to kill her.
Yeah, it's like stupid.
And sometimes it's super dumb, or sometimes she doesn't know, so it'll just be like an emoji. Yeah, I love that. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so then when you have all these people chasing after her, and she gets lucky and stuff. That's why I turned to Nolan, and I'm just like, she's Jack Sparrow right now because it's like her fighting style was like she has some skill, but there's like so many opportunities for her to die or something. People have her cornered, but then she just like gets distracted and just does something. And then she gets lucky. Like, one time she's like, ooh, a penny. She bends down and someone shoots someone that's about to kill her. And I'm like, wow, I'm getting such Jack Sparrow vibes right now. She's just, like, running around getting the best of luck.
Yeah.
And then right after I say that, 5 seconds after.
Immediately, she goes, parlay!
Yeah, she pulls out, like, a white tissue and waves it around, parlay! And then Nolan starts laughing. I'm like... What are the odds of that happening? I'm like clairvoyant or something.
Yeah.
Like what? That was probably the best part of the movie. Like right after I say she's Jack Sparrow.
Immediately parlay. And we love the Pirates of the Caribbean movies and quote them frequently, so I thought that was just very specific and funny.
And also, I think that worked very well with her character, though.
Especially with Margot Robbie.
Especially her. I think that fighting style works great with her character. Especially, like, yeah, she's psycho, and she's been with the Joker around the for, like, a lot of years. So,
she's, like,
obviously,
desensitized.
So she's definitely going to, like, know how to fight a bit and hold her own. But to a certain extent, she's not like a Black Widow where she's been training to be, like, an assassin her entire life. So she's not going to be able to, like, beat up everyone, you know?
No.
Like, she can't do that like Black Widow, but she should be able to hold her own to an extent. And that's why this lucky aspect and just her, like, goofing around, being crazy, and just that kind of fighting style worked in the beginning. But then later in the movie, they got away from that, and they just made her this, like, she is, like, a super assassin, and then she got away from that luck, and it got from, like, goofy fighting to, like, super serious, where I felt like it fell off and it didn't work within that.
And then they sort of came back to it in the end.
A little bit.
You know what I think it was? And we went into this earlier, so we've got, we've been going on about this for a while, but we got the main characters. We actually haven't talked about Renee Montoya. We got to get to her at the end. We've got Harley Quinn, Renee Montoya, Black Canary, and Huntress. Huntress's fighting style is basically Black Widow meets Arrow in the best way. And a bunch of other reviews had said this. She's female Punisher for the time that she's on screen. She doesn't have a lot of time on screen. That's what it is. Super realistic, super brutal. Renee Montoya is like basically like cop training. She can punch people, she can shoot people. Apparently the actor who plays her is like actually super into boxing.
Okay. I did not know that.
I feel like she could have fight more people.
That's also, I felt like at the end in the final fight with her, I felt like that was too far because you have these dudes that are huge. They're probably like 250 pure muscle, and she is like a 50-year-old just a police officer. That's just a 50-year-old police officer. Like, she'd probably go with the gun and all that, but she shouldn't be punching knocking all these huge guys out, like 100 of them. Like, really?
They could have had her. I actually wouldn't mind it if they had her fight smart, which makes sense.
Yeah,
like, if she's been on the police force for 30 years, she'd know how to hold her own, especially against big thugs in Gotham. So it makes sense she'd be like.
They really just put her in a big scrum, just punching them, one punch knockout. I'm like, I guess if they played that fight, they played that fight more in a goofier style, like the beginning fights, it could have worked. But they didn't. They kind of made it.
They made it more serious. So
it did feel off. Like, all right, that's a little too unbelievable.
Yeah, especially in the scene where they're trying to make it believable. And then last we got Black Widow, who's
no, Black Canary.
Black.
Ugh. I know. I mentioned Black Widow.
I gotta get my nerd card revoked. My membership. No, Black Canary, who I love in the comics. I very much enjoyed in Arrow. For the most part, they've switched it up around the lot.
She has like 3 different Black Canaries. No, there's like 3 different Black Canaries.
Yeah, there's Dinah, and then there's Laurel Dinah, and then there's Sarah. Regardless, her fighting style is basically like kickboxing and street fighting, which makes sense if she grew up on the streets of Gotham. She also has superpowers.
We didn't even see it until the end. I'm like, when apparently she was. I didn't even know she was known because she was just this singer.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I guess no one knows who she is yet because Ian McGregor's character was surprised when he saw her fight for the first time. I'm like, wow, she's more than just a pretty voice. So I'm like, oh, she didn't make her name yet. No one knows about her. But then at the end of the fight, when they were like cornered with 100 guys, Harley Quinn goes, "All right, Laura. Yeah. All right, do your thing." Dinah. All right, Dinah, do your thing.
Was that Harley Quinn or Renee Montoya?
I could have sworn that was Harley Quinn. Was it Renee?
It might have been.
Maybe it was Renee. Oh, well, she does know her
I
mom.
think
Well, she knows her mom.
Yeah.
But
so
she didn't really know.
Maybe. Because at the one point she's like, you have your mother's powers, don't you? Honestly, one of the funniest part about Renee Montoya, it took me a couple minutes to get into it, her voice, I don't know if that's the actress's real voice. If it is, that's funny. She has the most Brooklyn 80s cop voice. And they lean into it. They're like, and she says really 80s cop stuff. And then she's like, just drops like one-liners and stuff that no one says in real life. But no, you're right. It's weird blend.
And then, when she finally used her powers, I'm like, why didn't she do that the entire fight? But then she like passed out afterwards. I'm like, sense. I guess that's why. I mean, she did scream like for a little while. Like she took out like 100 guys. So I guess
laugh so then because you had mentioned this earlier, and you're 100% correct. They do the cartoony fight with Harley Quinn at the beginning, where she's kind of lucking her way through it, and also cartoony violence. Then she kind of gets a little more serious in the middle, which works at some parts.
Not the cop. The police station scene.
Yeah, that was. She gets like legitimately like. Then she goes like full crazy like assassin mode, which it's neither here nor there. Some people have opinions on it either way. But then at the end, I will have to say I enjoyed the part where everyone's like, cover your ears and Black Canary screams, and Harley Quinn, who just inexplicably is now on roller skates to the point where they're like, when did she get on roller skates?
Yeah, well, no, when she have time to do a shoe change or whatever. I did like that, but the fight was serious, and then they just threw in that goofy part. If they just made the entire fight around that.
Yeah.
And also it was the Black Canary that said that too. I also felt like now Black Canary just like kind of like went into goofy stage too when she was serious the entire movie. That's why I'm like,
it makes more sense for the kid to say.
Yeah, that's why I felt like she changed her character at the end. You know,
it was definitely. But I did love the part where Black Canary screams and it's like this blast of sound and everyone's getting pushed back and Harley Quinn just covers her ears and just crunches into a ball
and she just gets blown.
She gets faster than a car gets shot down the road. It's just going whee. I laughed.
And it does like the close up on her and showing her face. Down. I'm like,
I was this is where you guys succeed in that weird Harley Quinn style, just cartoony. She's literally outrunning a car on roller skates. Mm-hmm. This makes no sense, and it works.
But also within that scene, the entire end fight, she wasn't narrating for a while. She didn't narrate at all. But then after she did her scream, she goes. She does the narration again. And she goes, "I told you she has a voice, or whatever. Like she has
a killer voice,
or something like that."
And you're like, "Bum, okay."
Yeah.
Someone got paid $1,000 to write that joke. I told it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But we should probably start wrapping it up.
Wait, I want to talk about the police station scene first.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That was also another thing that I was talking to you about.
Yeah.
About how
there's a scene
cartoony fight, and then they changed to like serious fight.
There's a scene in the film. I don't know if anyone's listening to this or I've been saying it, where she breaks into the police station so she can find Cassandra Cain. I guess we forgot to actually go over the actual plot of the movie. The whole movie revolves around they're trying to get a diamond. It's a MacGuffin. It's a diamond. It's a bunch of money. So she breaks into the prison, into the police station, so that she can get the kid who has the diamond.
Who ate it? And then there's a bunch of like poop jokes.
So, in a movie for adults, there's a lot of poop jokes.
There's a lot of like poop, like hitting the balls jokes, kind of like.
Which I guess I don't mind, but it was just funny.
Yeah.
But you were saying, sorry.
So, I felt like that's a good scene to show her lucky, goofy comic book fighting.
Yeah.
But no, they made her serious, like badass assassin in that, and I felt like it didn't work because she literally just walked straight into the police station of Gotham City, where they
Joker,
know
Bane, Scarecrow. They should be equipped.
Yep.
For a 110-pound lady with a bat.
Yeah, and she really did a confetti gun. That's what she was shooting people with. Like she put bean bags in there, shooting people with confetti guns. And there's points when she literally just would turn around, shoot someone. There would be like just one guy standing there, and next thing she turns around, there's two guys just watching her, and then don't do anything. When they should have had like 100 cops could just line up and just blow her to bits, you know?
And it honestly would have been funnier if 100 cops lined up, and then she just accidentally her way.
Yeah, and then just something lucky, but they made it seem like they were like the police force of some like unknown town in the middle of the desert where there's no people, you know?
And they're
like,
all kind of jokes.
I guess that would work there, but not in Gotham City.
That was the one point where I was like... Contextually didn't make sense.
And also when she finally finds the girl in the prison and she unlocks all the cells and all these big bad villains come, and she looked kind of scared at first. I'm like, they're gonna like run away and like something funny is gonna happen or something. Yeah. And then no, she just stopped and fought all of them.
I think I will have to say that fight scene I liked it for two reasons. One, there was a reason for her to fight them. There wasn't any they don't tell us the reason why she's fighting the police at first, so it just cuts to a complete... This is when they're doing the time hopping thing. They cut to a completely random scene where she's shooting a bunch of police officers. I was like, first of all, I'm sort of rooting for the police officers because she's still technically a bad guy. I don't know why she's attacking the police officers, and this is unbelievable. The prison sequence has some cool slow-mo.
Yeah, it does.
Also...
breaking legs.
There's... Again with the breaking legs thing. And there's... basically, the one thing that kind of works for her is that the reason I think she wins that fight is that she has something to hit them with, and they don't. Because she just takes the rifle, and all I can remember of that fight is at the beginning. One guy comes at her, and she just hits him on the head with a rifle, and he goes down. And I was like, yeah, okay, actually that makes sense. But then she does go into that like ninja flip thing where I was like, okay.
Yeah, I feel like they should just kept the same tone throughout the entire movie and not every fight scene change it up. You know, they just had a tonal issue for them. That was the biggest issue, just tone. And that's
easily overlooked. Mm-hmm. That doesn't say the movie isn't
enjoyable. But I feel like if you're not a film person or you just go to watch the movie, you probably won't even. You'll probably enjoy it so much more because you don't look at that stuff. You don't care. You just watch it to have a good time.
Yeah, I feel like this. Kind of last things before we start to wrap up. We got Black Mask is very dead. He's very, very dead.
His death scene.
Blows.
I laughed. I did not expect that. I thought she was just gonna like shoot him or something.
His leg hits the camera.
Yeah, his body went 4 different directions. To be honest, I laughed, and the guy in the front row loved that too.
The guy in the front row was going gratuitous violence.
That was. Hey, I agreed with that guy. That was the first time I agreed with that guy with laughing. You
know. No, but that was. I was of two minds. At first, I was like, whoa, and kind of laughed. Then I was like, I would have almost liked to have seen in more stuff. I hope the DC, one of the only shortcoming Marvel really has, they kill off their villains way too fast. And I was hoping DC wouldn't, because usually DC villains don't get killed off. They get sent to prison. They break out of prison. They get sent to prison. They get break out of prison. That's kind of the whole thing. So I was hoping they'd do that with Black Mask, but they didn't.
I think
the reason is a big problem.
I feel like the reason why Marvel does do that a lot of times is because they have like their big bads that they're building up, so they don't have time to just keep on reintroducing other ones.
Yep.
But that's why they have just a couple that they are reintroducing.
Yeah.
Especially with, I think Mysterio's still gonna be alive.
Yeah, or like his team's gonna like recreate him or something.
Well, if you hear, is Karen the name of his?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Edith. Yeah.
Oh, Edith. Yeah. No, that wasn't Karen. Sit in suit. Edith was the glasses. He goes, "Is he actually dead?" And she didn't confirm. He said she just goes, "All illusions are down." So he. Could be like the way she worded it, so that's why I mean. Like I feel like Marvel will still bring back
the villains.
More villains.
That's why I hope DC starts to do that more because they have good, compelling villains that we like, and I hope they don't kill them all off. I'm trying to think of other stuff. Generally, like the movie.
Yeah, it's definitely an entertaining one. Good,
interesting tone.
Interesting. Yep.
I think if DC keeps making these kind of every DC character is in their own little bubble. Shazam is in this kind of wholesome, childish bubble. I like that movie because of that. This was in a more gritty, R-rated, yet completely cartoony bubble. I like that. I don't know if I ever want them to cross.
Well, that's why I don't feel like it's a universe. That's why I feel like DC is finally having good solo movies and movies that I'm generally enjoying to watch. But as a universe as a whole, I'm not feeling the fit.
Though the one thing, I feel like it's very comic booky in a good way. Where you have, I don't mind if the Birds of Prey reference Shazam and vice versa.
Yeah,
would not mind that. I would actually love that.
Just like the Marvel TV shows, the TV shows reference the movies, but they never officially cross.
And now they're not even.
Well,
illegal contracts aside, but so I don't mind if DC builds universe like that, where they have some R movies that don't cross in. They have some like kids movies that don't really cross in, but then they have their main bubble.
He just put air quotes. If you guys didn't see his air quotes when he said that.
Yep.
He had air quotes when he said kids movies.
Kids movies.
I know you guys might have had trouble seeing it, but
you know, the thing that you can't see and you clearly can't see, and I keep nodding, doing air quotes and making hand gestures. Thank you for explaining the fact that I'm not going kids movie into just a microphone.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty much set on talking about Birds of Prey. I think I got everything out I needed to say.
Should we give it let's give it a ranking. What should we give it a ranking? We should create a ranking system. Out of a flock of birds, how many birds?
I'll do out of 10.
Out of 10 birds?
10 birds.
Out of 10 birds. They can be bald birds, which means they're kind of meh.
I'll give him 7.5 birds.
You give him 7.5 birds? I'd give it...
It's missing its wings. It's just got one walking around wingless. That's the half.
It's 7 eagles and a penguin. It's just 7 really big flighty birds and like a baby penguin just going.
Entertaining wise, I'd give it a 9 though, but overall I'd say 7.5.
I would say, yeah, I'd probably say 7.5. I think for me, I'll go 7 because I don't mind the gratuitous violence. But at some points when I knew they were trying to be funny with it, I didn't find it funny. And that's not a movie problem. That's a me problem. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's just wrong audience. Mm-hmm. So I would give it probably 7 or 8.
What about entertainment-wise?
Entertainment-wise, that was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It was visually fantastic. So I would give it a 9 for entertainment-wise. Yeah. I think some of the jokes fell flat, but overall, the entire thing was entertaining, fun to watch, and it was generally I just had a good time.
Yeah. Same here.
So that's our wrap up on Birds of Prey. What do we got? So that's kind of
that's pretty much the episode now. But
actually, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, before we wrap up the episode, anything you're watching this week? I was just gonna say something I was watching this week.
Oh,
just as a little insight into our lives.
Oh, okay. Well, what have you been watching?
Oh, no, I had this.
You don't know what you were watching?
Dude, I just thought, I know what I want to watch. I want to watch that Timmy Failure thing. The Timmy Failure Mistakes Were Made Disney Plus thing. Oh, no, I watched Lamplight. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that too.
Because last week we were talking about Toy Story 4.
I've seen that.
And I thought it was funny, but not emotionally charged as I thought.
Well, I really didn't. Usually when they just do their little skits like that, like in between movies, they're not emotionally things. It's just for fun.
Just for fun.
Like I thought it was a good little thing to add.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm still on the Star Wars, the Clone Wars grind.
Ties into our next week. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joey over here is a better man than I, and you are rewatching all of
every
Clone Wars
every episode
before season 7.
I'm
kind of jumping. I'm watching the arcs I like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm watching the arcs I like, or the ones I don't really remember. But that ties into next week. For our next week's official episode, we are going to be going over a couple things. We're going to go for our speculation of what we want out of season 7. Then we're going to have a special guest in. His name is Liam Lynch. He is currently making our theme, and he is our kind of producer-editor, basically.
Yeah.
He goes through all of our things. He's going to be coming in and talking with us about what we think the best arcs in Clone Wars, the original series, was, and then we kind of battle that out, and then whatever the news of the week is. And then tentatively, we have another guest coming in who's a huge Disney princess fan. A very specific Disney princess fan, mind you.
Specific.
Very specific, as in like some, and then absolutely hates others.
So there'll be a lot of banter going on. That's definitely one to tune in. We'll have a good time with that.
Currently, we are thinking of doing a quiz with her and then just roasting her for the remainder of the duration. So that should be good. That should be coming out this week, but depending on schedule delays, we're shooting a bunch of films right now. So we don't know when, because we are professional filmmakers. Mm-hmm. If you didn't know that.
I got $100,000 budget.
$100,000 budget. $100,000.
Oh wait, no, that's just my tuition. Never mind. That's my tuition. I got no money for.
Wrong budget.
I got no money for my films. It's just all for my tuition.
It's just nope. You're not wrong. I do when they say that. Yeah, no, they're like, "This is your budget for your film." I'm like, "A cookie."
I could feed the crew like cookies and chips.
Triscuits. I got a bunch of Triscuits in the.
You guys like pixie sticks?
Dude. Oh my! I know how we're gonna get the best podcasts ever. Bring in a guest, just pump them up on sugar, and then do something with them.
Not Kaylin though. That's gonna be too wild.
We should bounce off the freaking walls.
We'll just get her angry, and then she'll be fine.
From there. So that is our show for this week. So thank you to Liam for producing and editing. Thank you to us for being amazing hosts and getting off the ground.
And my buddy Sean, who's currently making our logo right now. He's finishing it up, and his concept art that he had was pretty cool.
He's a much better. I roughly did the original logo, which is very rough. And he did basically something like you sent it to him, and then within hours he's like, "Here's my concept art," and I was like, 10 years in Photoshop, and I could not have come up with half of what you just did in like an hour and a half. So that is, I think, the episode for the week.
Yeah, episode 3 in the wraps.
Episode 3 in the wraps. Check us out we are now on Apple Podcasts at the Blip Podcast. If you look us up, we have the logo it says the Blip, and we've got Wally and lightsabers. You'll be able to tell it's awesome. Stormbreaker. You can find us at the Blip Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and I set up a Facebook today, so we now have a Facebook.
Oh.
For if anyone is... Does anyone use Facebook anymore?
40 plus.
40 plus? For any of those, what's the ads where it's like, hot 40 plus singles?
Yep.
Hot 40 plus singles who want to listen to our nerdy podcasts can check us out on Facebook, and we're at Podbean, which is a podcasting streaming site, and we will soon be on Spotify, if you guys check us there. And as always, we are on YouTube, where I think is most people find us and listen to us.
Yep.
We post updates on social media for everything during the week. This episode's probably going to collect in a little bit longer than... We have a lot to talk about this movie. Next week will probably be our usual 40, 50-minute ones. Nothing new coming out. There's just so much stuff coming out this year. We got a packed schedule. But thank you guys for listening, and you got anything else?
That's all. That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. We have to do the Super Friends. We're basically the Super Friends. I'm looking at my computer like it's a person. I turn to my computer and I go, we're basically the Super Friends. I forget that I'm again in an audio medium. So we'll do our closing music. Thank you for watching this week's episode. No, wait. No, it's that weird 60s commentary. Okay. Thank you for watching this week's episode of the Super... Oh, I forgot the name of our own podcast. Okay, goodbye.